Hey guys, just another quick video. This is what I think about getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Just like my 40k videos. I wasn't a big player of fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy. I did have a Chaos Army. I played a couple times, you know, when I was kind of looking around for gaming places, gaming stores, gaming clubs, people just to play with. You know, I like the whole fantasy. I love fantasy. I love D&D. I loved Warhammer Quest, the original box set, because it kind of had that dungeon crawling, you know, fantasy element, and you could expand that game to your Warhammer Fantasy Battle or armies. So I tried it. I like the fluff, and I like the lore, and I like the backgrounds to a lot of the characters and stories and lands. The lands were phenomenal. I don't know, like just how they delved into each land and its occupants and how they battled with other armies, and you know, they waged war, obviously kingdoms and things like that. It was very cool. The game itself had a lot to be desired for me. It was very rank and file. You had blocks of regiments of guys. So when you bought a box set, you paid like $30-$40 for a set of guys. If you bought Chaos Warriors, you'd get like 12 guys. If you bought Skeletons, you got like 30 guys. You know, if you got Wood Elves, you got like 20 guys, and so on and so on, based on the difficulty or, you know, toughness of the army. But you built them, you put them together. They even made movement trays to move them, basically like huge chunks of models across it. They just basically moved across the table until you collided with each other, and that was pretty much it. There was some scenery, but it was very sparse because you had this huge tray of guys you had to move. So rather than do this and go around a bush, you just didn't put a bush there. You just, nope, we're just going at it. You know, and I mean, what it was fine. I know there's fans of it out there. I am still a fan of a lot of the stuff of it. But Age of Sigmar came out a couple years ago, and I really didn't pay attention to it because at the time I was into other hobbies. I was playing airsoft, I was racing RCs, I was doing other things with some of my other hobbies to get away from the table, because, you know, I'd gotten so frustrated with Warhammer 40k and, you know, 4th, 5th edition, now 6th edition. I was like, I'd take a break. During that time, Age of Sigmar came out, which was, you know, marking the end times of the old world, and the new world came in, and everything changed, and, you know, the landscape changed, and the armies changed, the factions changed, the realms changed, you know, so they gave a whole new overhaul, you know. But what I've recently discovered is I like the play style of the game. It plays a lot like the new Warhammer 40k 8th edition. Matter of fact, 8th edition is based on the first Age of Sigmar. And I know right now there's a 2nd edition of Age of Sigmar that just hit the streets. It's hot off the presses. I haven't gotten a box set for that yet. Don't know if I will. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if I can find it on discount, or if any stores out there or companies are willing to send me a box, I'll check it out. But if you wanted to get started in Age of Sigmar, it's just like Warhammer 40k. There's a book, magazine. I paid $10 for it, shipped. And yes, it did come with a figure. It came with one of the new Stormcast Eternals, which is part of the reason why I got back into this stuff. I don't know what it is about these Sigmarines is what they're calling them, because they're like fantasy space marines. You know, big tough dudes in armor, can't be killed. They're just cool looking. You know, they have a cool feel to them. So I picked up the magazine just to kind of excuse me, get a feel for the story and what was going on in the realm. You know, it kind of breaks down what happened with Sigmar and the dragon and the realms being split, and him trying to unite the realms with realm gates. A lot of fluff, just like the 40k book. You know, a lot of different alliances now: the Alliance of Death, Chaos, Destruction, Order. Kind of grouping a lot of different armies into tighter categories. Now, some people's armies were put on hold, from what I understand, like the Empire. You know, the Dark Elves were split. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. I don't know each faction, but you know, I know Games Workshop's working on giving all those factions their due, or maybe they're just, you know what, this army doesn't work for this style of play, you know, and they're trying to revamp the whole system. There's people out there who are still playing the last edition. Cheers to you, man, for sticking to your guns. You know, why break something that you don't feel is broken, or change something that fix something that you don't feel is broken? I apologize. And have at it. Like I said, I didn't play enough of it before, and I didn't care for the style of play it was. You know, very Civil War miniature-esque. You know, but it was an old game, built, you know, created in an old time. You know, it worked for its time. And, you know, not that this is the new hotness, just go with this, but, you know, it makes the game a bit more dynamic in my book. And I got into it, I'm like, try and get my friends who were playing it before back into it. Maybe this new fresh coat of paint will give them some insight or some inkling to get back into it. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll try though. But I really really emphasize that I love the miniatures. These miniatures, man. I have original Warhammer Fantasy miniatures, and I have to accept that what we had based on the time and technology, you know, for what we had. I get it. I totally do. And at the time I accepted it for what it was. I still kind of do. I just feel like this is where we're always headed. This is the potential we always had with miniatures. Artists, you know, I've met artists from Games Workshop, you know, at conventions and things like that, and I've seen their sketchbooks, I've seen their artwork, and I'm like, holy crap, dude, that is amazing, you know, conceptual art. I love conceptual art. It's just phenomenal. But when you look at the miniature, you're like, what happened? Who did you let make this? Did somebody fall asleep? And no disrespect to the sculptors, your job is not easy either, man. You're taking someone's vision and putting it in clay and making, you know, a 3D model of it. That's not easy. It is not by any means a simple task. But, you know, we use the technology we have to make things more efficient for us. Here we go, another painting guide, just like the 40K book. You know, it has everything you need if you just want to kind of know what you're doing, or where to get started, or how it works, or, you know, you want to paint something. Here's a quick guide, you know, that's relevant to that model. But you could use those techniques or applications for any model. You know, playing the game. Here we are. The rules. Yet again, very basic, very simple, very straightforward. Now, the only problem with these rules, initially, with this series, this, you know, first edition, was that a lot of them did not come with point costs for match play. It was just, here's your unit, play it. Good luck, fucker. You know, but then they came out with the General's Handbook, which actually came out with, I did pick this up, it actually has factions and their actual match play point costs. So if you want to play a tournament, this is the book you need, because that's most likely what they're going off of in tourneys. aside from obviously the battle tomes, which are like codexes. You know, if your army didn't have a codex, you were using this book. Just like in 40K, you had the indexes if you didn't have a codex. But here you have, you know, another painting guide on how to get these models going. And it's just really, really well done. And again, $10 on the internet, the amazing internet, to get you going or learning about Warhammer Fantasy. And I mean, this guy right here, you get this model and you put it together. If you're not sure by the time you're done building this model if you're gonna do this, then you probably shouldn't. I think, unlike 40K, I didn't have my insights into Age of Sigmar like I did with 40K. So I got this first. This is the first thing I picked up for Age of Sigmar. This little guy. As soon as I built this model, I told myself, yeah, I'm gonna get in on some of this. Really cool model, very basic, real simple to put together, easy to paint. It looks like, I'm not done with it yet, but I knew right away, you know. And it's like most things, man. When you do something, you know right away if you're gonna be into it or not, man. You know right away if you're gonna invest. And $10, that's it. $10 to start your investment. And if you decide that it's not something you're into, it's only $10. Two cups of coffee at Starbucks. That's it. It's not much. You know, if you're a gamer, if you're into hobbies, you're 9 times out of 10, you're probably already gonna have tools, paints, whatever you need, and you're probably gonna your instinct is to be like, this is just to confirm my other purchases because I'm going to get into this game. This is just to say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna do that. You know, some people go past that and say, I don't need this because I know what I'm gonna get. But you know, I didn't at the time, and I was like, you know what? Let me check it out. Let me see what this is all about. And this magazine right here made it very easy for me to make that choice. So, getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, it's a good purchase. Well worth the money. Thanks for watching.